When I was elected a fellow, I was only the 29th woman elected in the whole history of the Academy.
Wow.
And there were at that point 1,200 men.
Hello, welcome back to episode 5 of Beyond Borders. Today we have Professor Dame Helen Atkinson from Cranfield University with us.
Hi everyone, it's really great to be here and talking about Cranfield as you think about your ambitions for the future.
She's also the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the School of Aerospace, Transport and Manufacturing at Cranfield. Helen, would you like to shed some light on it and what you do at Cranfield?
So I am the Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Aerospace, Transport Systems and Manufacturing. Cranfield doesn't have conventional academic departments, it has themes, and our themes are focused on industry. So aerospace, transport systems, manufacturing and materials, they sit within my responsibility, and then I report to the Vice-Chancellor. And I have the best job in the world, looking after the most fantastic team, very forward-looking from a technology point of view, incredibly capable and competent around the teaching and the research. And just to fill you in on a bit of background about Cranfield, it was founded in 1946 by the UK government because they really wanted to understand the jet engine, which was essentially brought into use during the Second World War. And then through the decades, it grew an interest in manufacturing because of aerospace manufacturing. It grew a school of management. It grew a school of defence and security, which is based in another part of the UK, which is focused on our relationship with the Ministry of Defence and all the defence learning that the armed forces do. On our campus, the one where Aerospace, Transport Systems and Manufacturing is based, it's an open campus where students from all over the world come to study with us.
That's amazing. That background story, it's amazing. It's so good to know that there is like how the dots connect and how this came into play. So Helen, as an educator, have you noticed a shift in interest in students when it comes to engineering and aerospace?
So students have become increasingly interested in artificial intelligence, in building sustainability into their courses, and we're very focused on that. We're very interested in and provide courses in robotics, mechatronics. So all these really cutting edge technology foci that are developing, digital aviation, for example, advanced air mobility systems, so electric vertical takeoff and landing, all the drones agenda, all of that is within our portfolio because we always want to be deeply relevant to where the students need to be for their career development.
Right. And why do you think students are leaning towards?
Because they are ambitious for their careers and they want to go into careers with industry and business where they're going to be using skills that are right at the cutting edge, skills and expertise.
Stay relevant with the times and what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So considering that you've had a very prolific career, obviously, and you have been appointed as the Dame Commander by the Order of the British Empire, which one of your projects has been the most exciting or is the most close to your heart?
So although I'm a metallurgist by origin, I've found that coming to Cranfield, I've had it within my school, the Aerospace Integration Research Centre, which is a joint project with Airbus and Rolls-Royce. And Airbus and Rolls-Royce staff are really embedded actually physically at Cranfield. And we work on big projects in the Aerospace Integration Research Centre. And then more recently, we've had a big focus in the last couple of years on digital aviation. So we have a £67 million experimental airport terminal called Dartec, where we're working with companies like Thales and Saab and Spirent, Etihad, Heathrow, to look at digital aviation and how that is going to transform the aviation industry into the future. And it includes things like a passenger experience laboratory, which is like an experimental airport lounge.
So what happens in the experiment? What do you do?
So, for example, in the passenger experience lounge,
Yeah.
we can look at the flows of passengers through airports. We can look at how you optimize that. Because, of course, we all know that at times airports can be incredibly
Yeah.
busy places.
Yeah.
What happens when you have someone who has a medical emergency and you see them clutch their chest and fall to the ground? You can scan the crowd with artificial intelligence and spot that kind of medical emergency and pinpoint the medical teams onto where that's occurred, but also what might be the medical emergency. So you can analyze with AI what is happening with that person.
Yeah.
Have they clutched their head? Have they clutched their chest?
So the right person
have
can
they
go.
hurt their leg?
Yeah.
So that you can make sure the right medical treatment gets to them.
Yeah.
So there's lots of interesting things going on in Dartech, but we are the only university in Europe with our own airport, our own aircraft, our own pilots.
Wow.
We own our air traffic management services. So all of that plays into our digital aviation future, and understanding the vast amounts of data that the airlines, the airports, the air traffic managers all need to integrate together to produce the most efficient, most sustainable aviation system. And then there are teams who are working on hydrogen for the future. So hydrogen is a big, big agenda, both for aviation and for ground-based power for the future. So we are really developing projects which focus in on hydrogen combustion for the aero engine, hydrogen for ground-based energy, for powering homes, for powering the campus, for example. We've got a net zero hangar, which has been designed to make climate change, minimize climate change with our hangar, which otherwise uses loads of energy because the big doors are open on the hangar. So there's lots of incredibly exciting things going on.
The concept is so interesting and so exciting in itself. I mean, you create scenarios and then optimize the user experience on an airport. So that's incredible.
It's a real working airport, by the way.
Oh, it works.
Yeah.
So people land there.
By which people land there.
So what is your vision for the future at Cranfield, and how do you see international students playing a role in that vision?
So for me, the experience of the students is incredibly important. So last Friday evening, we were holding an alumni reception for our Indian students, actually in the High Commission in Bangalore.
Wow.
And talking to the students then, they were passionate about the difference Cranfield had made to their careers. They literally talked about this step change that they'd gone through and how having a Cranfield degree had enabled them to go into much more senior management posts.
Right.
One alumnus said that he was now the youngest senior manager in the organization he works for. And he definitely attributed that to his Cranfield experience. Wow. And people have gone on from studying in my school and in the other 3 schools at Cranfield.
And they make an impact into the world, a positive impact. Yeah. So with increasing emphasis on sustainability, as you just said, that you have sustainable projects as well that you're working on, can you tell me what other initiatives the university has taken about sustainability?
So sustainability is right at the heart of everything we're doing.
Yeah.
It's part of our corporate plan.
Yeah.
And so it's embedded, it's right, there at the heart of everything we're doing. It's called Ambition 2027, our corporate plan. And that means that we're working sustainability into every course. Mm-hmm. Of course, in many ways, it was already there, but it may not have been labeled sustainability.
Yeah, right.
So now we're making it more explicit. In the UK, we've got more severe storms. Yeah. So not that we get many storms at Crandfield, because we don't, but there is a sense in which everyone is suffering more extremes of weather.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
It's an important agenda. We're working it into our courses. We're working it into the way we run our own campus. Mm-hmm. I mentioned the net zero hangar. Right. That's a major investment where we drew in funds from our government to make our hangar a net zero hangar.
Okay, Helen, that was very insightful on the sustainable steps that you're taking in aerospace and transport. Are there any sustainable measures that you're taking in manufacturing and materials?
So sustainability is so important.
Yeah.
So we're looking at smart, clean, green manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole life cycle of manufactured materials, how do you make sure not only that they're manufactured in a sustainable, efficient way, where we don't waste energy, we don't waste materials, but also taking them right through their life cycle for the whole of the asset lifetime.
Yeah.
What happens to them at the end? How do we recycle them? How do we get the whole cyclical picture in so that we don't waste resources? So, for example, one of our academics who comes from India, in fact, is working on how do you get dyes for textiles actually from waste foodstuff. Now, that is a perfect example of sustainability. There is a big push on metal additive manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Additive manufacturing is a technique for generating parts, components, based on building up layers so that you don't have to machine things. So instead of having a great big block of titanium, for example, that you have to machine a turbine blade out of, can you make it by laying down layers of material in the shape you actually want? So you don't need to do much machining and finishing at the end, just a little bit. That saves energy, it saves cost, it saves time, and there's some really world-leading research, but we're teaching in that area as well, so people can get very up to speed with an MSc in metal additive manufacturing.
Speaking of metal and machinery and engineering, could you tell us more about the engineering project that you're working on? What's it about?
There are many, many engineering projects across our school.
So there is this is engineering project?
This is engineering. It is a national project.
Okay.
The Royal Academy of Engineering is like the engineers equivalent of the Royal Society for Scientists. So the Royal Society is very famous. It was founded in the 1600s, and many, many great scientists belong to it.
Wow.
The Royal Academy of Engineering is the engineers equivalent, and the most senior distinguished engineers in the UK belong to it. When I was elected a fellow, I was only the 29th woman elected in the whole history of the Academy. And there were at that point 1,200 men. So it's a very
big gap.
Well, there weren't very many women who'd ever been elected to it. So it was a great privilege and honour to be made a fellow of the Royal Academy of Engineering. But the Academy is working to encourage more young people to consider engineering as a career.
Yeah.
And we said, where are young people now?
Yeah.
They are on social media. So we set out to do a social media campaign to encourage more young people to consider engineering as a career. And we produce these little short videos, 45-second videos, and they are on things like TikTok and YouTube, but also on some of the gaming platforms like Venatus.
Okay.
And we have had as a team 67 million video views.
Wow.
By young people in the target age group, which is 15 to 17, and equal numbers of girls and boys.
Okay. Talking about the disparity in genders in this academy, like considering you were the 29th woman in the academy and it's been there since 1600s.
The Royal Academy of Engineering has been there since the 1970s, in fact. It's like the parallel to the Royal Society because the Royal Society is for scientists.
Okay. But the gender gap is still there.
Still, when they started in the 1970s, you look at the photographs, it's all men, totally men when it was started.
So do you think that STEM and the careers and these societies should be more inclusive when it comes to genders and races?
So there is no barrier, and what people need to do, people from all diverse backgrounds, is know that engineering is an incredibly welcoming career. They should go for it, have the confidence to go for it, know that it's such a good career to go into. I've got children. I've worked part-time for a big part of my career, 14 years of my career. I worked part-time, and I have still become the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of a major school in one of the highest ranking universities in the world for aeronautical, mechanical and manufacturing engineering. So we're in the top 30 in the world in aeronautical, mechanical and manufacturing in the QS rankings. So it's an amazing institution to come and study at. And we know that our female engineers, but also our engineers from all kinds of diverse backgrounds, go on to leading positions in their career. They really do get their dream job.
Right, right. And it is worth admiring how you were the first woman president of the Engineering Professors Council.
So the Engineering Professors Council represents engineering in universities throughout the United Kingdom. So all the universities that teach engineering, virtually all of them, are part of the Engineering Professors Council. And it was my great privilege to be the president, the first woman president of the Engineering Professors Council. So I'm very proud of what the Engineering Professors Council actually does.
Yeah. So would you mind giving all of the young women who are watching this an advice to pursue a career? What advice would you give them to pursue a career in STEM?
So have confidence. It is a fantastic career to go into. Whilst I've been in India, I've met lots of women students. They've got great potential. So have confidence, go for it.
Okay. That was it for the episode. It was such an insightful session with you, and you have achieved so many things in your career. It has been an honor to sit here and talk to you about your career and everything that you do.
Thank you, Sonali. It's been a great pleasure to be here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some of you at Cranfield in due course. It'd be great to welcome you to Cranfield.
So we will see you in the next episode of Beyond Borders. Till then, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And that's it for this episode of Beyond Borders, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.